Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Spooky AF. My name is Rob, and today I'll be your host, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Suz. Suz, how are you?
I am excellent. I am on holiday, and it is fab. However, we're doing this at a different time than we normally do, and on a different day, which, kind of unsettles me. I'm like a 5-year-old that's out of their pattern.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's dark outside. Things don't feel right.
No.
It's not the usual Sunday morning.
It's like later in the day. I don't know. I feel like a new day is going to start after this, but it's not.
Oh no. That's not good.
I know. It's actually, I don't know where our listeners are listening from, but it's fucking Baltic. It's so cold outside.
Yeah, Ireland, for some reason, like, literally last week was fine. I was out in a t-shirt and just jeans, and it was grand. And now, all of a sudden, this week, it was like, nah.
We've had an exceedingly mild autumn.
Yeah, like, the climate crisis has been not good for us, but
no.
The weather has been acceptable.
Well, if it makes everyone feel better, my mom in Texas says it's still, like, around 35 degrees Celsius.
Oh,
I know.
That. No.
Every year she's like, I'm too old and I'm too fat and I keep getting older and I keep getting fatter. I'm like, Mom, no, you don't. But every year she's just like, this is the year I quit everything. And I'm like, oh God, one of these years she's going to be in it.
Jesus.
I know.
Yeah, so what I'm talking about today is probably one of the most famous UFO cases in history, I'd say.
Okay.
And it's... At the time of recording, it's 50 years ago, basically this week, that it happened as well. That's why I'm talking about it today.
Okay.
So we're talking about the Travis Walton incident, or UFO encounter, and it's, like, mad popular. There's a film based on it. It's called Fire in the Sky. Really, really good film.
Rob, I've never heard of this. And I've never heard of that
I'm not
film.
surprised
Okay.
because you don't know these UFO things.
I don't.
So
It's because I am one. No, I'm just kidding.
it's pretty much like a guarantee when I'm going to talk to Steve about a UFO thing that I'm like, this is brilliant because it's basically like a blank canvas.
Yes. It's like introducing someone to the concept of color or something.
Yeah.
She doesn't fucking know. Yeah, that's purple, sure.
Exactly. So I'm like, I can just basically talk about any case, and Susan's like, I've never heard of this before.
This is great. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the Travis Walton incident, as it's famously known, it happened on the 5th of November, 1975.
Right.
And it's a UFO story that has basically inspired films, books. It's actually a new version of the film, like a new film that's been produced by Amazon that's coming out, I think it's this year, about it.
Oh.
It's got like mad interest, and it's got some, I suppose, consistency to the story and all those involved in it that I suppose makes people wonder a little bit more. So
okay.
It's interesting.
Okay.
Not to say though that it isn't also massively controversial.
Oh.
So
oh God.
Don't worry. We will be dealing with all sorts of things today around UFOs, abduction narratives, polygraph testing, because they're mad.
I'm an ex true crime girly. I have a lot of thoughts about polygraphs.
Oh, I had a feeling you would. So yeah, don't worry. This case basically has everything you need.
I will say, Rob, that you set the bar high in UFO stuff for me pretty early on when that French lady tried to like tie that spaceship to her Renault.
The thing that saddens me so much is that's one of our worst performing episodes that we've done for listeners.
Guys, you're missing out.
It gives me such sadness.
She tried to tow us a spaceship.
She basically tried to kidnap an alien and then claimed that it made her immortal afterwards.
Oh God, you guys! I'm beginning to think our listeners don't have taste. Seriously, do me a favor. Go listen to that one. It's excellent.
Yeah, maybe the title wasn't clickbaity enough for people to get like their TikTok brains not getting pulled in by
French woman cancelled tries to kidnap foreigner off side of road. Like something like that.
I can see that working.
Or like maybe it could be like a Mr. Beast thing, and they'll be like, I kidnapped these 2 aliens for 100 days and like put them in a something, and they make it all colorful and shit.
with like a really badly photoshopped like beret on one of them.
Yes. Like so, there's like a gray alien with like a striped, like a striped quarters,
A black and white striped jumper.
Yes. A baguette, like coming out of
A
the
cigarette,
spaceship. Yes.
obviously. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Le UFO.
Yes.
It just writes itself. Like. So today we're talking about the Travis Walton incident, and it takes place in the forests of northeastern Arizona in 1975.
Arizona is, I mean, I often say that like Florida is God's waiting room and like the American South is where hope went to die. But Arizona is like particularly like, in my opinion, it's like, they even make fun of it on South Park. Remember the goths are like, we're gonna send him to the worst place in the world, Scottsdale. Like, Arizona has its own little... It's also where Bella Swan came from, and that's not okay.
Damn. Okay, I didn't know that.
You, Rob, you've never seen Twilight?
No.
If we ever start a Patreon, that has to be one of the levels.
I've literally, like, I've never seen it.
Rob and I, like, doing a drinking game to Twilight.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Okay, sorry. Okay, we're in Arizona.
Yeah. So we're specifically in, as I said, the Northeast. We're in the area of Turkey Springs, which is in the Apache Sitgraves National Forest.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got some pretty, like, we're pretty precise on where we are, actually. And
I mean, there can't be, it's not like, you know how every state has a Springfield? It's not like every state has a Turkey Springs.
Exactly. Yeah, so we're right here, basically. Yeah. So the story starts basically with a 7-man logging crew. As I said, we're in the forest.
Sounds a bit fruity.
And they're led... Yep, exactly. And they're led by a man called Mike Rogers.
Okay.
He had this tree thinning contract.
Yep.
For the U.S. Forest Service. And the area that the crew was working in at this point was in Turkey Springs.
Okay.
In the, as I said, the Apache Sitgraves National Forest. The crew included Travis Walton, Alan Dallas, John Goulet, Dwayne Smith, Kenneth Patterson, Steve Pierce, and Mike Rogers himself. Mm-hmm. The only ages I could find, the age range, is that Travis Walton was 22 and Mike Rogers, the head of the crew, was 28.
Sorry, what year is this happening?
1975.
1975. Okay. Sorry, I have a great uncle named Mike Rogers, so I was trying to make sure it wasn't him. So, sorry.
Wow, okay, fair enough.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, so he would be 78 now.
No, he's not that old.
Okay. So, so this crew was out there working away. They were doing their thing, and were basically, they from what I understand, they were actually behind schedule.
Right.
With the work that they were supposed to be doing. So there was kind of a bit of tension at the site, I think, where they were basically just trying to get as much done as they possibly could. Mm-hmm. I think at this point that there was a letter that had been sent by Mike Rogers to the Forestry Service on the 20th of October, so like 2 weeks beforehand, acknowledging that they were already behind schedule.
Okay.
And that there was just kind of like additional pressure on them to work later hours, like start earlier, work later, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. You know, the real American dream sort of rat race grind.
Oh yeah, start earlier, work later, get paid less, fuck you. It's very
exactly.
American.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, it's the dream right there. So after a day of working away on the 5th of November, I would assume it's probably still quite warm in Arizona at this point. I'm assuming.
Sorry, what
warmer.
And it was in November. Well, it depends on the elevation, because like if they're in the Northeast, they're kind of closer to New Mexico, and the mountainous parts of New Mexico are pretty cold.
Okay, fair enough.
So it would kind of depend. It could be anything from like moderately warm to actually pretty chilly, I think.
Okay, fair. Okay, that's actually really good to know.
Okay.
The temperature actually there currently.
Yeah.
I don't understand the conversion, but
well, tell me. I'll
It's 31 Fahrenheit.
Oh, that's okay. So it's about like 1 or 2 degrees.
Oh damn. Okay, so I take back exactly what I just said, and it's actually really fucking cold there. So
yeah, because we don't. Do you know the elevation of Turkey Springs? That might have a lot. To do with
idea.
It. Okay, but it's also if it's in like deserts are cold at night.
Yeah, no, that's true. But they are in a forest, so
right. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, it doesn't matter. They're in a mountain.
I like how we're both
there.
like, we both did arts degrees. We're like, how does temperature work?
Look, I have opinions on history. I don't have opinions on temperature.
Look, that is none of my business.
Yeah, I exactly. My degree says BA, not BSc, okay?
Oh, I thought you were going to say my degree says BA, not C, like Celsius. I'm so sorry.
It doesn't even have that.
It doesn't have that letter at all.
No. So after a day of basically doing their best to thin down these trees, and as we've established now, it's cold there. So it was a pretty cold evening. The crew, after sunset, decided to go home for the night and to reconvene the next day. So as the crew were driving back down the mountain, one of them spotted this unusual light above the tree line.
Okay.
So Rogers, who was driving the truck, he stopped basically because obviously it's 7 young guys clearly like seeing this light, and immediately like the survival instinct goes as soon as you're around a group of dudes, where it's just like, we have to go look at this.
You've talked about this before, this like phenomenon of like dudes of any age, once you get like a certain number of them in a group, just
we all turn into the monkeys from 2001. Like that is scientific fact. So
that should be the basis of most horror films. It's just like a group of dudes who just couldn't not go look at something.
Yeah, just guys being dudes.
Yeah.
Yep. I completely agree. So they see this light and they decide to stop the truck and to look at it. Rogers afterwards described it as a large glowing object hovering in the air below the treetops about 100 feet away. Dwayne Smith, one of the crew, described it as smooth and giving off a yellowish orange light. The men, kind of as they decided to approach the light, they discovered that it was a craft hovering there basically in the trees. So they kind of tried to approach the craft, and they described it as looking like a flattened disc,
right?
But that it had clearly defined edges. They said that it was maybe 15 to 20 feet in diameter and was approximately 8 to 10 feet high. So pretty large when you kind of think about like what you're dealing with here. So it's probably, for our non-American listeners, it's 6 to 7 meters in diameter and about 4 to 5 meters high. So it's pretty large.
So they must have gotten fairly close to kind of see that detail?
Yeah. So they got close enough to it. Like they stopped the truck, got out, and walked into the tree line to have a look at it. So
oh god, dumbasses.
They got, yeah, exactly. Again, no surprises here.
No.
So Travis Walton, the main person in our case, he at this point he was only 22 actually. So he was sitting in the front passenger seat. And he claims that he was the first person to react to this craft. So while the others were kind of slow to get out of the truck, he says that I threw open the door for a clearer view of the dazzling sight. Curiosity kept me guessing. I got out of the truck and started towards the craft. So he basically took it upon himself to like walk right up to the craft, whereas the others were like, no, we got out of the truck. That's enough for us. Like we can see it.
Yeah.
So the crew started basically like shouting warnings at him. And just to say, this is all coming from what the crew have said. And that will make sense later. But this is what the crew claimed, that they were shouting warnings at him. But Walton himself basically just wasn't listening to them, or couldn't hear them, or was so caught up in the moment that he chose to ignore them. Whatever it was, he decided to approach the craft anyway.
Yeah.
At this point then, the crew described seeing this blue-green beam shoot out of the underside of the craft, striking Walton in the chest and hurling him backwards.
What?
Yeah. One of the crew members said that it looked like almost like a grenade exploded in front of him and threw him back in the air.
Wow.
Mike Rogers said that as the flash occurred, I turned around in my seat to look at the UFO again and saw Travis being hurled through the air in a backwards motion, falling on the ground on his back. So after seeing this, the crew panicked. And, you know, as the good crew that they were, they decided, without going to him at all, that Travis Walton was obviously dead. And they decided to flee the scene instead of stopping to help him.
I mean, bros before UFOs, am I right?
Yeah. So, yeah, they basically agreed that they acted like a bunch of cowards, is what they put in their own words.
Okay.
So after a short distance of driving away, Rogers basically realized that they'd fucked up and went, no, we need to go back and check on him and help him.
Right.
They turned the truck around, went back, and when they got there, both Travis and the object was gone.
This is very King Falls AM.
It is, actually. I think it was directly inspired by this. So it's even sort of like the visuals and things like that. It's very, very similar.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I was like, the visuals I'm getting are very similar to what I got when I listened to King Falls AM. Yeah,
they were clearly very inspired by this. Like there's too many similarities to not have been at least aware of it.
Yeah.
So the crew panicking then because Walton is gone and they don't know if he's dead, if he's been taken, if he's got up and wandered off and he's now lost in the forest. They don't know. So they decide to drive into the closest town called Heber, Heber. Apologies if I pronounced it wrong. And they contacted the Navajo County Sheriff's Department.
Oh.
And a deputy there by the name of Chuck Ellison, he met the men at a shopping center and he found them all visibly distraught. Apparently some of them are crying, but none of them have confirmed, obviously.
Oh, God.
Which
God forbid.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, he came out and met them. And then a sheriff later on, Marlon Gillespie, actually described the crew as being apparently sincerely distressed. So,
I mean, men will literally like call the cops before they're going to therapy, so it's fine if they got him to cry.
True.
Yeah.
True. I actually just want to point out one of the source names that I have for this bit of information that I found about the sheriff and all.
Yeah.
It came from thescarechamber.com. I felt like you'd appreciate that.
I do like that.
Yeah.
That's any room I'm in if you give me a fucking minute.
Yeah. So Rogers, who's the crew boss, as I said, and he was actually Travis Walton's close friend.
Yeah.
He was particularly shaken by this. And in later interviews, he actually said, they were heard saying basically to each other, we've got to stay honest all the way through this. It's the only way we're going to be believed.
Okay.
So depending on how you want to look at that.
Yeah, was that like, we need to stay honest with, you know, what we legitimately saw? Or was that like, we're saying the same story, buddies?
Exactly. And that is exactly what people were thinking.
Yeah.
Particularly the police. Some of them believed them, and then some of them were like, you clearly killed him.
Well, I was about to say, did most people just think like, oh, y'all just killed your friend?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like that, and that's it exactly. Like a lot of them were like, no, like you absolutely have just killed him.
And came up with the worst cover story.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, immediately the police were like, we don't believe this. So there were some. The police, when they kind of heard about all of this, they responded promptly to it. And they, as I said, they described the men as extremely upset. One of them was allegedly crying. And the Ellison, actually, the sheriff, the deputy, said that if they were lying, quote, they were damned good actors. So the officers accompanied some of the crew back to the site that night, but they found no trace of Walton or the object. A search was organized the following day. There was approximately 40 to 50 people turned up. They also had helicopters, tracking dogs, and basically brought as much as they possibly could, but there was no evidence found at all. So given, I suppose, the nature of the extraordinary claims that the crew were talking about, and also the lack of physical evidence, law enforcement initially suspected foul play. No shocks there at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Sheriff Gillespie and his deputies interrogated the crew repeatedly. They explored the possibility of murder or an accidental death. They basically started interrogating them straight away. And as Gillespie said, I really expected to find that a murder had been committed. So like they were pretty adamant that they they knew what was up here. Like they, as far as they were concerned, it was open and shut. Mike Rogers, as I said, the crew boss, he was a central figure in both, obviously, the incident and the aftermath.
Okay.
And in the immediate aftermath of all of this, he was adamant about the reality of the encounter. He apparently repeatedly claimed that we didn't kill him. And Dwayne Smith, one of the other crew members, he actually allegedly said to the police, "I'll take a lie detector test to prove it." Like, he was that sure. Mm-hmm. And when he said this, Rogers and the rest of the crew, they all echoed his sentiment, and they all volunteered for polygraph tests.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they all described the object as the exact same. They all basically said that they all had corroborating evidence, and Rogers was the one who recounted basically seeing Walton being struck by that beam and being hurled backwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it like they were all fairly consistent. So
I mean, Rob, it's just the polygraph.
Oh, don't worry, we're about to talk about the polygraph.
Okay. All right, I'm willing to hold on.
So, to resolve suspicions, the Arizona Department of Public Safety's polygraph expert was called in, and this guy's name was Cy Gilson.
Yeah.
And he administered tests to the 6 remaining crew members on the 10th of November. So this is 5 days after the initial incident.
Okay.
5 of them passed the test, with the 6th one, Alan Dallas, being inconclusive. So Gilson concluded that the polygraph examinations effectively proved that these men did see some object they believed to be a UFO.
Right.
And that Travis Walton was not injured or murdered by any of these men on that Wednesday night. So that's a direct quote from Gilson.
Okay.
So the tests initially were administered at by this expert. They used the control question tests, which is CQT.
Yeah.
That's the acronym for it. And apparently at the time, these were considered the most reliable format of questions. So basically he talked about how there was, even though there was only one question asked about that related to the UFO sighting, it was a valid question, and the results proved none of you were lying when stating you saw an object that you believe was a UFO. So the polygraph expert, and I say expert in the loosest sense.
What is it, like brackets derogatory?
Yeah. Imagine Dr. Evil, yes. Like expert. He was convinced that they weren't lying, basically.
Yeah.
It was being reported then in the media that they were all innocent, effectively.
Yeah.
And so this is the thing that annoys me about this kind of I suppose, I don't want to say like small town way of doing things, but like they were pretty immediately declaring people innocent off results of this, and basically just like announcing it to the media straight away. Like there was no kind of no kind of holding back on things. They were just straight away being like, yeah, they're innocent.
Yeah, I find it, I mean, like, we need to talk about polygraph tests.
Please do. Okay.
I have so many thoughts. I mean, number one, they're just on really like shaky scientific ground, from what I understand. Like, they don't test truthfulness. They test, like, I think the term is literally arousal. Like, they test, like, so people who experience heightened anxiety, or are prone to like their heartbeat speeding up or blushing really heavily, and like other kind of physiological things just kind of in their day-to-day actions are more sensitive to those things, often get flagged when it's not that at all. Like, which is why like a lot of people like Patrick Bateman would probably be fine because he doesn't feel anything.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree. And that's, I suppose, like, polygraph tests now are not viewed as being scientifically like accurate at all, and they're not used in court.
Well, no, and it's because one of the things being that, from what I understand, again, is that like different readers or different like people who are running the tests will read different things differently. Like, so one person could be like, oh, that's clearly a lie. Another person's like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, it's not.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's just, and I think you hit it on the head there, where you were like, if these people believe that what they did was correct or right, then they're not going to come up as lying.
And there are ways to like stop your body's responses.
Multiple proven ways of how to like cheat a lie detector test.
Yeah. And so I remember being a child and watching Law and Order SVU and being like, this doesn't seem scientifically sound. Every time they'd give somebody a polygraph. And I'm like, look, I know he's the bad guy, but like, you can't do this.
Yep. No, I completely agree. So it's wild.
Maybe it's because like I spent the first 34 years of my life being like, what is it, like, you know, feeling like I was being hunted for sport, like that level of anxiety. So I'm like, they would sit down, they'd be like, is your legal name Suz? And I'd be like, just start like screaming. They'd be like, she did it. She's actually the Manson murderer. Or like, she was there.
It's just, this is wild. Like, I'm so glad that they've copped on that polygraph tests just don't work.
No, it's it's the same thing as like fiber analysis in a lot of cases, and bite mark.
Yeah.
Has been like basically said to be bunk.
It makes me wonder though, like, what are we currently doing that we're like, this is fucking like top tier stuff that we're doing? I wonder what in like 20, 30 years time people are gonna be like, they were fucking idiots.
Is it the Republican Party?
Nice. Yeah.
Everybody be nice.
Yeah. So we'll just move on then. During the course of the investigations and polygraph tests and all that sort of stuff, Dwayne Walton, who was one of the crew, he's actually Travis's older brother. He basically came out and said that Travis was known, that basically Travis and their mother were kind of known in the area as being a kind of, I suppose, self-appointed UFO buffs. And they had previously all discussed that if they ever saw a UFO, they would immediately get directly under the object because the opportunity to go on board a UFO would be too great to pass up.
You're telling me that they had a family pact?
Yeah, basically, yeah. If you see a UFO, you fucking yeet yourself there.
They had the equivalent of what I've told you is if I ever find like a magical portal, I am going to walk through it.
Yeah.
Like one day I'm just gonna be gone and you're gonna be like, damn, she found it.
She finally did it.
Yeah, she's that bitch is, you know, Narnia, Middle Earth, Hogwarts, she's somewhere. Like,
yeah, 100%. And that's it. Like, yeah. And I'd respect that. So that's literally what they did.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they were basically like, yeah, we know where he is, in that he's on a UFO. Like his family were like, he's on a UFO.
This is kind of dark, because you're like, yeah, I don't know, because there's almost something very tragic about this like missing person, and the family being like, no, they're in space. Yeah,
so they were so sure that he was in space that his own mother actually repeatedly asked the police to call off the search because she said it was a waste of time.
Wow.
That like she knew where he was, basically. So
is this a product of like the heating up of the Cold War?
I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I really don't know. Like, it's wild that like she was so sure.
I mean, as someone who like grew up in the semi-country, like you do kind of have to make your own fun to a certain extent.
True.
So like
Very true.
Maybe this was just like the thing the family was into. Like my mom was always really into stories about vampires, and thus here I am. So
maybe. Yeah.
Like,
look, this is just their thing.
It's their thing. Yeah.
It's their Rome.
It's their.
Yeah.
At least twice a month, they are thinking about like what do they call, like Palladians or star seeds or whatever those like crazy people. Like, yeah, I don't know. Not crazy, just really into something that's a bit fringy.
Yeah. So during all of this anyway, the investigation was still going on, and during an interview with a Phoenix-based UFO research group,
okay.
Mike Rogers, who was the head of the crew, said, and quote, "This contract we have is seriously behind schedule. In fact, Monday the time is up. We haven't done any work on it since Wednesday because of this thing, and therefore it won't be done. I hope they take that into account." And he then pointed out that forestry contracts included an act of God clause that excused contractors who were late due to unforeseen circumstances.
Okay, we need to talk about, is a UFO abduction an act of God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? See, I don't think that would fly with Ryanair. I don't.
No, definitely not. Especially not Ryanair. Not those people at the gate, the ones that convince
Oh.
you that your bag is too small for the cabin.
Oh,
No,
because
definitely not.
because they actively they just keep swapping out a smaller and smaller thing they put the bag in.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, no, that is literally, you wouldn't convince those
They're
people.
like, oh,
of
you
this.
need to take a sanitary pad on with you? Gonna have to check that.
Yeah.
Like, where are you gonna put that? Not on this plane.
You dirty animal.
Yeah. They'll be like, wow, the excess, the decadence.
Yeah. Has it up there on your high horse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's wild that they were already. So people have taken this interview where Rogers has said this as an indication of this all being a hoax, and he was basically convinced Travis to disappear to basically allow them to get out of the contract and not be penalized for basically not doing it on time.
Oh, so do you think Travis's family was in on it, and that's why they're like, no, it's aliens, it's fine.
So that's where it starts to unravel a little bit, where people start pointing fingers.
Right.
But currently at this point in the story, that hasn't really happened yet. I think just law enforcement were interested by that bit of information.
Okay.
So basically by the November 10th, so 5 days later, stories of Travis's disappearance were now being published in the US, the UK, and Canada, and the press were really starting to pick it up.
Remember when the world was simpler? And
I know, it's wild.
That was the headline.
Yeah, and the press actually managed to get a hold of Travis's mother, where she basically said that any further searching would be useless.
Right.
That there's no point, basically.
Yeah.
So they basically said you're wasting your time, and this kind of coincided with the polygraph tests all coming out, also saying they hadn't done it, that they were all innocent.
Okay.
So it's basically a case of where they don't know what to do going forward. So this is on the 10th of November when this all happened. Then on the 11th of November, so 6 days later, the press started to report that Travis had been found. Travis had allegedly placed a collect call to his sister's home from a payphone in Arizona. Eventually, Travis got through to his wife, who then drove to pick up Travis's brother and proceeded to the town of Heber to pick up Travis.
Oh.
So when his wife arrived there, she initially thought that the call, or that the person at the phone booth was intoxicated, and that basically she didn't know what to think of him. Apparently the call operator as well actually was interviewed afterwards, and she also said that the person on the phone sounded like he was drunk.
Oh.
But that when he gave his name to her, she recognized his name, and she actually reported him directly to the sheriff as well. So she put his call through to his wife, but also rang the sheriff's department afterwards and were like, yeah, no, you need to get up to the family house because he's been found.
Right.
So a deputy arrived at the family house at 2 a.m. where he basically witnessed Travis's brother. It's such a weird detail, and I just wanted to point it out because it's such a strange detail to have in a report.
Okay.
He witnessed Travis's brother Dwayne transferring fuel from one car to another after having forgotten to purchase fuel before the local petrol stations were closed.
So you just saw him.
It's such a weird.
What? Yeah, it's like.
Yeah,
oh yeah, he was siphoning.
Yeah.
Petrol to.
It's in the story that in the report that's there. So the deputy, when he got up to the house, he basically was talking to Dwayne, and he didn't reveal to him that he knew Travis had come back.
Yeah.
And Dwayne also didn't tell the deputy that he'd been found. So rather than bringing him to a hospital, Dwayne, his brother, decided to reach out to the UFO researcher that they'd met a few days prior. And he basically said that he needed medical attention, and this guy, the researcher, referred him to doctor, and I say doctor in the largest of air quotes.
Derogatory.
Yeah, Lester Stewart, who was a hypnotherapist.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I just had the first thing that popped in my head was, I don't know if any of y'all have played The Sims. It must be The Sims 2, I think, where like if your social, like your aspiration bar gets too low, then like a hypnotherapist will show up and he's got the black and white spiral spinny thing, and he's got like hair everywhere. Like, that is the first thing that popped into my mind.
Yeah. So yeah, his brother took Travis to meet with Stuart, and apparently his first words were that Travis actually needed a proper medical examination with lab tests.
Okay.
And he was nowhere near ready for hypnotic regression, is allegedly what he said.
Are any of us really ready?
No.
At any point?
Not at all. So Stuart noted that Travis seemed very confused, and he said it was actually reminiscent of drug addicts that he'd actually treated.
Okay.
He noticed that Travis had this small lesion on the inside crease of his right elbow, and he said in his opinion it was consistent with intravenous drug use.
So I say, like, is he on heroin?
That's kind of what he was suggesting, I think.
Okay.
So after meeting with Stuart, the two Waltons, the Travis and Dwayne, they returned to Dwayne's home, where the UFO researchers had arranged a house call by two doctors who were also just so happened to be amateur UFO investigators.
Mm-hmm. As
so
you do.
I know. So they arrived at 3:00 in the afternoon, and Dwayne forbid them from using a camera or a tape recorder, and he wouldn't allow them to ask Travis questions about his experience.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctors basically in their report noted that there was the presence of that that puncture mark on his arm, and they estimated it to be about 24 to 48 hours old. They also noted that
it sounds like he's coming down.
It does. They noted that he also had what they called a 5-day-old beard,
right?
And that seemingly had suffered from apparent weight loss, either by just not eating at all for those 5 days or for some other reason.
Yeah.
But apart from that, he was otherwise unharmed.
Mm-hmm.
But they said that they couldn't say definitively what the mark was on his arm.
And they didn't do like a full toxicology panel.
Doesn't seem to have been the case, no.
Huh.
So this is the thing that I just find mad about this, is the sheriff knew that he was home, but they didn't immediately go into his house and try to verify it. They just left.
Right.
So for that entire day, stories of Travis's return had begun to spread. The press began calling Dwayne's home in an attempt to reach Travis, and Dwayne finally formally informed law enforcement in the late evening. So the sheriff drove basically the 4 hours out to Dwayne's home, and he arrived there by 11 p.m. And basically Dwayne and Travis allegedly both demanded that the sheriff not record the interview.
Okay.
Which is just wild.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, then you could just say anything happened or didn't happen.
Exactly. So a few days later, Travis and Dwayne went back to the Arizona town that they had been in, Heber, to basically meet with the police, and their costs were paid for by this local UFO group, and they were put up in a hotel basically. So Travis, when he was there, he opted to skip a polygraph interview with police. I
mean, that's one of the most scientifically sound things that's happened.
Exactly. But that night, in the presence of Inquirer reporters, a doctor who was associated with a UFO group had a 2-hour conversation with a hypnotized Travis about the incident.
Oh my god, the National Enquirer.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen one of those?
Yeah, I have. It's wild.
I'm like, those were the things that when my mom would take me grocery shopping, and you'd pull up, you'd go up to the till, and there was just lines of National Enquirer and the World News and I mean, if you're in the UK or Ireland, it's the Sun or something, except it even more kind of every day. There was a cover about how John Benet Ramsey had been attacked by aliens, and that there was a corn monster running around Ohio, and just wild stuff.
It's insane. It's completely insane. And yeah, they were there investigating this. So yeah, he was hypnotized and talked about the incident. And the following day, on the 15th of November, Travis was interviewed by Jack McCarthy, who was a freelance polygraph examiner.
I'm sorry. I
know.
A freelance polygraph.
I know. I'm throwing words around now that we're just going to have to just go past.
This is making about as much sense as 6-7.
I know. And so this was arranged by the UFO group and the National Enquirer.
Okay.
So McCarthy basically did his test, and he concluded that Travis was engaged in gross deception and had been intentionally holding his breath in an attempt to beat the test.
Okay.
So he actually wasn't convinced at all. He was basically like, no, he's bullshitting.
Okay.
So Travis then appeared on the 22nd of November, so a week later, on a Phoenix television station, KOOL, where he was interviewed about the incident. And I am going to tell you now about what Travis claimed he saw and experienced.
Okay.
So, just to say, Travis has since written a book, and there's a lot more details about this in the book. So I'm just going to paraphrase what he basically said. The book, it was called The Walton Experience, but it's now called Fire in the Sky after the film came out. Mm-hmm. So Travis claims he was struck in the chest by that beam. That did happen. He fell on the ground and he fell unconscious.
Okay.
He says he didn't remember anything after that until he obviously regained consciousness, or at least became aware of the fact that he had regained consciousness. Mm-hmm. He said that he found himself in a hospital-like room and that he was surrounded by 3 short, pale, large-eyed beings. A quote from his book says, I awoke on a reclined bed, a bright light shining above me. I was in pain and having trouble breathing. He described the beings as being less than 5 feet tall, very pale, with large domed heads, large eyes, a small nose, mouth and ears, and their bodies were encased in tannish orange. These were seamless jumpsuits and were very thin.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So,
he needs to, stop talking about my extended family like this. It's really insulting. I have a bone to pick.
Well done.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, yeah, he basically...
My grandmother looked great in orange. How dare you? God rest her.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so he basically claimed that, these creatures were dressed in, orange jumpsuits.
Which is very, 1970s of them. I will give them that.
Oh, absolutely. And that they were basically, grey aliens. Mm-hmm. You know, the classic alien shape, I suppose.
Yeah.
So he says that he panicked and that he grabbed what I can only describe as a pipe and threatened the beings when they left the room. So he basically threatened them until... Yeah, so he called it a rod-like object.
Oh, well, we know where that was going.
Yeah.
I mean, based on your average alien abduction story.
Yeah. And he basically threatened them, and then they all ran out of the room because they were so threatened by him.
Well, yeah, he's waving a pipe at him.
Exactly. So Walton then says that after this, when they ran away, he encountered taller, human-like figures who were wearing blue jumpsuits and helmets.
Oh, God, okay, yeah.
He says, quote, a man approximately 6 feet tall with brown hair and strange golden brown eyes appeared at the door. He beckoned to me and I went to him, babbling question after question, none of which were answered. He claims then that he was led through a series of rooms, eventually encountering 3 more human-appearing individuals. They asked him to lie on a table, at which point then they placed a mask over his face, after which he lost consciousness.
I mean...
So, yeah.
Well, this is kind of tracking with, so yeah, everybody's always like, oh yeah, I saw the little gray aliens, and then I saw, the ones that they call, the Nordics, which is super problematic, and then then I was, back, and I just, it's very cliche.
Oh, I completely agree.
Okay.
And I suppose this might be the origins of the cliche. This is still in the 70s. This is...
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
This is before Close Encounters of the Third Kind and those sort of films.
I swear to God, I think there's also, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, I think there's a very similar story in the first season of the X-Files to this.
Yeah, there are.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Again, I think it's massively inspired by this.
Okay.
So yeah, Walton then said that the next thing he remembered was waking up on the ground in that area of Arizona in Heber. and he said that he basically found himself walking along a highway. That like he basically woke up like just outside the town, walked along the highway, and he said that as he basically like was regaining consciousness, he saw the flying saucer departing above him. So they basically like dropped him on the ground and then flew away, and he saw it. Yeah, so that's kind of his.
He's tripping. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
Yeah. So that kind of it ends the story to a certain extent. So the incident, I suppose, was further popularized by his television experiences. The men and the crew, they were all there was no charges brought against them, basically. As I said, Walton released his own book. It was called The Walton Experience in 1978. But then in 1993, Paramount released a film called Fire in the Sky, which was a heavily dramatized adaptation of Walton's account. Right. And I say heavily because there is, for anyone who's seen it, you know what I'm talking about. There is like all I can describe is basically like torture porn scene, basically, where they like jam fucking needles into his like eye and everything.
Oh God.
And it's fucking wild.
I think it would have been... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, when I watched that, I was way too young watching that, and it definitely left a mark on me.
I think it would have been hilarious, though, if you'd been like, yeah, he changed the name of the book after the film was released. It was called Men in Black.
Yeah.
That would have made me laugh so hard. But is there somebody recognizable in that film that I would know? I can't remember if I've seen it.
Let me double check. But yeah, so just to say while I'm checking that, I suppose the thing to point out is that you were talking about the X-Files. So it came out in 1993, which was season 1 of the X-Files. Yes. So yeah, there was a lot going on at that time. Mm-hmm. In Fire in the Sky, you've got Robert Patrick, who is obviously in Terminator 2.
Yeah.
We know him from that.
Yeah.
James Garner plays one of the guys. Henry Thomas is in it as well. You would know him from the Haunting of Hill House.
Who does he play?
He plays the father.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
He must have been pretty young.
Yeah, he's pretty young in it.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty good cast.
Yeah.
Like it's a good film for what it is. It's not a great film.
No.
But it's fine, and it's had a remake, as I said. I think either coming out this year or it came out recently. It's on Amazon, and it's a more accurate telling of the story. So Fire in the Sky was released as and they literally acknowledged that it was being released as a flashier, more provocative story than the original narrative.
Yeah. Okay.
So so it kind of that kind of really ends where it is. So I'm conscious of time, and we're starting to get on a bit, but like. Just to really, I suppose, conclude, there obviously is a number of skeptical analysis of this.
Yeah.
A lot of people have pointed out that there was a financial motive to this. As I said earlier, there was that act of God clause where the crew was behind schedule on their logging contract, and if they didn't finish the contract on time, they were going to get a $2,500 penalty.
Okay. Which is
what
like
they
the
described
equivalent
as
of like $300,000 or something now.
Exactly, yeah. So what they described as a dramatic act of God, such as an alien abduction excuse, might have helped their failure to complete the job and potentially bring financial rewards through media deals as well.
Well, am I wrong in thinking that maybe there's, like, they knew they weren't going to get it done in time, and maybe they knew that Walton had, like, a bit of a problem, and so they, like, concocted this, like, sent him off with money for addict stuff, and then this is what happened? I don't know.
Yeah, like it's not good. Like it really kind of seems like they took advantage of this situation. That's how it kind of does look. It's tough to say, really.
Yeah.
I suppose we won't know, but basically that kind of happened with the clause. Shockingly, people have come out since and said that the polygraph tests were poorly administered.
Well, yeah, they were polygraph tests.
Exactly.
We've been there. Like,
yeah.
The fact that they existed, it means they were poorly done.
Yeah, absolutely. Other, I suppose, people have pointed to, obviously, the publicity and fame that came from it. People were, making money off this.
Yeah.
There's been some psychological explanations that people have tried to I suppose, push on this in the theory that Travis was maybe taken advantage of and that drugs could have been put in the system.
Yeah.
They're saying that his report then afterwards could have been hallucinations he was experiencing as a result of that. And that the vivid hallucinations that he saw only kind of further helped the story move along.
Yeah.
Some people pointed out to false memory syndrome, which I really want to look into as an episode. Where
What is false memory syndrome?
So they were saying it's this influence of media, the like hypnosis that he was then put through, and then the suggestion kind of comes from it that he may have basically had false memories effectively like put in his own mind.
Oh.
That he's like basically like constructed himself like subconsciously.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me.
Well, it's also terrifying if you think about the amount of like the sheer amount of media we're like hit with every second of every day these days.
Yeah, true. It's mad. I suppose looking at the actual site itself, then there was no physical evidence at all, like no landing marks, burns, radiation, anything like that at the site.
Yeah.
The kind of minor examinations that were done on Walton revealed that he had weight loss and dehydration. But there were no injuries to him, and they did do a urine test, and they noticed that there was an absence of ketones in his urine. Which they said would be expected.
He'd had carbs.
Yeah, so they said it would be expected after 5 days without food.
Yeah.
So
r/keto sound off.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I had to leave it. It was getting too much.
I know that like that's a self jab for both of us. Like.
Oh, massively so. Yeah.
God, we were young and stupid.
Yeah. I know.
No, but fair enough. Okay.
So I suppose to round it all out, one final point to all of this is Mike Rogers, the crew leader in all of this, on the 19th of March 2021, he posted a statement on his Facebook page,
right,
announcing, and I'll just give the full quote here. I, Michael H. Rogers, being of sound and rational mind, do hereby give notice that I am no longer to be considered a witness to Travis C. Walton's supposed abduction of November 5th, 1975. Travis tried to keep a new remake of his movie a secret from me. He always had his big secrets that he's kept from me. It angered me. I tried over the last 2 weeks to reason with him, but of no avail. I don't believe Travis is an honest person, and therefore I want nothing to do with him.
Is this just like boomer drama? Like,
I have no idea.
He didn't tell me about the new film. How fucking dare that bitch? Like,
yeah, it's wild. So it actually goes on that he claimed like a month later that so Rogers placed a call to the producer of the new film, Ryan Gordon, and he was working on the film about the Walton incident, and Gordon actually recorded the call without Rogers' knowledge.
Is that legal?
It's permitted by Arizona law.
Of course it is. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And 2 months later, on the 4th of July, Gordon publicly posted audio from the call, which featured Rogers explaining, and I'll give you the quote again. We were talking in the woods one day. We were talking about creating a UFO hoax, okay? I don't know how the UFO got there, but I remember when I was driving the truck and he jumped out, it was all deliberate. It was all a staged thing. He ran up there and there was something about the UFO not being real, although it looked real. And yeah, so Rogers and Walton apparently later reconciled, and Rogers issued a statement retracting his retraction.
This is a generation that didn't get to have hobbies, like.
This is a generation that also experienced lead paint.
Yeah, this is a generation that did like. You know, they hand the baby at the hospital. They're like, this child must be beaten. This child must be like, don't you know?
Yeah. So so that's kind of it. So there's quite a bit more to this. There's like a whole other side to the story about that there was like a fire tower, like a fire lookout tower that was nearby, and it apparently had some spotlight on it or something, and that could have been potentially the
light in the sky,
the actual UFO or whatever. And yeah, so there's loads more to it. I haven't given the full. I've just, I suppose, given the high level stuff, but
I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
think the
kind
real
of
enemy
it.
is capitalism. Like it wouldn't surprise me if they were like behind and really stressed, and they were like, look, we are going to be out for money, or we're not going to get our payment, or whatever, and like we have ourselves and families to take care of, and
True.
we need this to happen. Like, I mean, I totally believe that that could happen.
Yeah, yeah, true. Actually, yeah, yeah. It's yeah. I don't know what to make of it. Like the people who even made the film Fire in the Sky, the screenwriter,
Yeah.
he actually said, I don't think the Travis case is an abduction case. It doesn't fit any of the other patterns as is the cases that were explored. So many witnesses gone for 5 days. So I think all those things break the mold and make this case unique. And then Philip J. Klass, who is a very well-known UFO researcher and journalist, noted that a UFO abduction mold just didn't exist yet in 1975. Remember what we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
So it's tough to say. You know, like, I suppose you're left either believing that this guy was abducted by aliens, or it was an elaborate hoax to make money to get themselves out of a contract that they could never fulfill. But Travis Walton himself, he's still alive. He's still very active in the UFO community. He still attends numerous UFO like conventions, particularly obviously in Phoenix, in Arizona. There's a large one there every year. So yeah, he still goes to these sort of conventions, and he goes to panels and things like that and talks about it. Obviously, he has made money off it,
Yeah.
but you know, he's still fairly active, basically.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting.
I mean, I'm like, again, I'm kind of like if it gives you meaning, and it like, and hell, if it gives you money, like I don't know. I don't know.
So basically, what it brought me to is I discovered an event that I desperately want us to go to at some point in the future.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's called Contact in the Desert. And it's basically a 3-day UFO event in the desert.
Rob.
Where you can, yeah. I would desperately love to go there.
Oh God.
It's
I
been
don't
described
know.
as the Woodstock of UFOlogy.
Oh God.
And you can learn everything from, you can attend panels of people talking about their experiences,
Yep.
right through to attending panels where you can learn how to astral project yourself.
Rob,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do it. I don't know. Like,
You definitely could.
you could.
But Sis, do you not want to attend the morning yoga class in the desert or the interdimensional sound bath?
Okay, you know what I'm gonna need to attend this, Rob? I'm gonna need. You sent me a picture of somebody who made a 25-gram Benadryl out of like 1,200 pills of Benadryl.
Yeah, actually, that's it.
I
yeah.
think I would need that entire 25-gram pill of Benadryl to attend this.
Well, you'll be glad to know that there's also an outdoor pool.
Well, yeah,
There's
I fucking hope so. It's the desert.
Complimentary in-room coffee.
Oh, good.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can also attend a private crystal skull session.
Wait, but will Kate Blanchett be there?
Potentially.
Oh my God.
Who are we to know?
Will Shia
Yeah,
LaBeouf be there? Just clapping.
And there's also a higher self healing group session.
My higher self is. She's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's the place to be. It's in the Coachella Valley, so it's actually like right in the desert.
Oh my God. I just watched some of my terminology I've used in this episode is because I just watched, there's like a newish video from Funky Frogbait on like TikTok, Instagram people who are convinced they're UFOs or are receiving messages from UFOs in the form of light language.
Oh God.
And it's all this, Rob. I'm not gonna say there's no like far right ultranationalism in it, because there's definitely some. But
Oh, there always are. Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, it'd be a bit weird if we were like, we went to the Coachella Valley and they were like, oh my God, did you go to Coachella? We were like, not quite. Like, did you see Gaga?
We gotta do it. We gotta do it.
We gotta. Well, we have to swing by and do the Texas Bigfoot convention.
We do.
Yeah.
We absolutely do.
And we have to go to Schlitterbahn.
So,
I've always wanted to take everyone I know and love to Schlitterbahn. It's one of the few gems of Texas that I legitimately love. It is a German-themed water park in Texas, and it's the hottest, coolest times in Texas.
Look, we gotta do something.
So it's those three things. It's the UFO convention, it's the Texas Bigfoot convention, and Schlitterbahn.
Yep, we can do all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Also, it's not that far a drive to the Nevada desert, which is where obviously Area 51 is.
No,
so...
Rob, I told you we can't do that because I know, you're gonna get shot.
Yeah.
I know this about you, and we're in this friendship for too long. Your wife's in that marriage for too long with you. We can't fucking have you be shot, okay? Because you'd be like, no, I think I can make it over the fence.
Fair. Okay, that's fair. Well, if it makes you feel better, it's only a 12-hour drive. So,
I mean, you act like we would legitimately drive that far for football games. So, I mean, that's not really, that far.
Exactly. It'll be fine. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So, it's all good.
I could just imagine us doing that 12-hour drive and we'll be like, Rob, where are we going? And you're like, no, I read about this really cool taco place. It's going to be great.
I'll be like, don't worry. It's fine.
Worry. And you've just got your Vietnam War playlist that you listen to. And we're just like, oh God, we're going to have to stop it.
It's happening.
Me, your wife, my husband, we're all just in the back of the car plotting to be like, I think if we form a human barricade, maybe we could stop him.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, apologies. Actually, I made a mistake there. It's actually only 6 hours to Area 51 from there. So
Jesus, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah. Google was returning the return journey time.
Oh,
so
okay.
no, it's yeah.
I love how my first thought was oh, did you have it set to walking? As if it would only take 12 hours to walk.
So yeah, look, it's fine.
Yeah,
we can make it work.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, this was really fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did. It was good.
Yeah. I'm gonna have fun when editing this episode.
Oh God, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope everyone listening has enjoyed this one. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. You can get us on social media at the Spooky AF Pod. We're on Threads and Instagram. And you can email us at thespookyafpodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything we've talked about today, really.
Oh, and all listeners, rest assured that if you say if you send something to the Spooky AF Pod socials and you say show this to Suz, he does actually send them to me.
Oh, I do.
So I have appreciated the ones that people have said to send to me.
Yeah, there's been some bangers that have been sent in recently that have made their way to see.
It is the only way I can engage with social media.
So yes, Amanda, thank you for the recent reel that you sent through, Suz.
Yes, I really enjoyed it.
But yeah, I hope you're all having a lovely day whenever it is that you listen to this, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy, guys.
See all you freelance polygraphers later. Bye.
Bye.